Hey, casual MMA fans, welcome back to the show.
We are back, and welcome to the new green screen. We're inside the T-Mobile Arena. That's not by accident. That's where we'll be this Saturday. Well, you won't be there personally, but we'll be there for UFC 235.
We'll be there in pay-per-view.
We will pay to watch it and be there.
We have pay $65, whatever the HD version of the pay-per-view is up to nowadays.
I'll say it's worth it for this one, though. It is.
Oh my God, yes! This
is like a great card.
This is like an end-of-year card. It's ridiculous.
You know, I think they're trying to get toward a quarter big card, like one every quarter.
Yeah.
You know,
well, shoot, the next one.
March is the last couple of years has been big cards.
Yeah. Well, the next one's going to be loaded too, but that's a whole other conversation. But welcome back to the show, guys. Thank you for joining in. I know that we've been gone for a week and a half, 2 weeks, I think, since our last coverage.
3 weeks, probably since UFC 234.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Took 2 weeks off there with some of the smaller cards going on.
Been busy too.
Oh my goodness, there is back to back weeks. I think up until the first week of April, there's cards.
I think we counted 11.
It's insane, and that's only the ones that are announced and official.
Yes.
So like, there's still stuff going.
Yeah.
Being made every day. So, but man, let's get to UFC 235. This card is stacked. So we're just gonna go kind of into it. Just talk about some of the ones that we like talking about, which happens to be a ton of fights on this card, and yeah, we'll just go from there. So
yeah, well, looking at the early prelims, not a whole lot there. I don't know if you saw anybody that you really stood out in your mind. I know in a few of the cards that we've done so far, there's been some high rising prospects in those early prelims. I don't really see those on this card, kind of skipping that.
Yeah.
Not to say you shouldn't watch it. You should always watch all the fights you can. You never know. But yeah, kicking off the prelim.
Yeah, I don't see too much on that early prelim card. But I mean, then again, when you stack the prelims like this, because if you think about it, the early prelims are going to be on Fight Pass, so they're stacking the ESPN card.
Yeah. Oh, is it on Fight Pass or the ESPN app?
Yeah, early prelims is on Fight Pass, and then the regular prelims are on ESPN.
Yeah. So kicking off the prelims, Diego Sanchez versus Mickey Gall. You got old school vet, one of the last remaining OGs, going up against a young gun.
That poor guy. He should have retired a while ago.
Yeah. What to say about Diego Sanchez?
I hope he comes out safely.
You could tell that the fight game is wearing on him.
The fight game wore on him like 10 years ago. At this point, he's kind of like a zombie.
He's loco.
Yeah, I mean, he has serious head injury he wasn't even supposed to be fighting still.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with that. I don't.
No, you hear mixed things, but I'm sure the whole story isn't out, because if it was out, I'm sure he wouldn't be fighting professionally.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to get cleared for each fight anyway. So
yeah, but it's a good matchup for a guy that's 5-1 and hoping for the UFC to be a rising star.
Yeah, he tries to play the game, tries to play the Conor game. He likes to talk. He's not very good at it, in my opinion.
No,
he's a little corny. But
yeah.
He's a young guy.
Yeah.
He's a young guy. He'll figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, he's pretty straightforward. You know what you're going to get with both of these guys. I think Diego Sanchez just throws like a monster. He's just a wild
Diego's
fighter.
He pounds his chest and bites down on the mouth guard, and he's coming forward. He's coming for you.
Yeah. And I mean, Mickey Gall's a guy that's only 5-1, so he has 6 total fights, and I think 3 of those are in the UFC, right? At this point?
Yeah. Actually, I think 4. I think he was 1-0 when he fought CM Punk.
Yeah, because he was picked up in.
He was 1-0, and then he got picked up. He fought Mike Jackson, who also beat CM Punk, and then he fought CM Punk.
Okay, yeah. So I think it's an interesting card. He certainly is much bigger than Diego. You know, he's going to try and grapple and get him to the ground. He doesn't want to get into into a brawl with Diego Sanchez.
Well, Mickey Gall, he's a go-getter too, though.
He is.
Watching his fights, he goes after it, but he's more of on the submission side, the grappling side.
Oh, yeah, certainly. I mean, he's going to be somebody. You know what I think would be interesting to see is the fact that Diego's southpaw. So seeing how he can handle this, a good veteran southpaw.
That always messes with even good strikers. That messes them up with their defense.
Yeah, because I mean, really, who has he fought that's even relatively impressive? So I think that this is going to be a big jump, or I shouldn't say I think, this is going to be a big jump in competition, just figuring who Diego Sanchez has fought in his career and what he brings to the table when he's fighting Mickey. It should be very interesting. I mean, I love seeing this stat right here. Striking accuracy for Diego Sanchez is at 37%. He just
throws a lot,
wings
lands a little.
Wings him.
But he's kind of like he's one of those guys that has weaponized pace a little bit.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to put it.
Trying just to wear you out more than knock you out. He's trying to outlast you, and then he's going to put you away.
Yeah, I like that. That is very true. I think that this one is probably going to go to Mickey Gall if I had to pick.
Yeah, I mean, just, it doesn't take much to put Diego away these days. So I'm always going to pick the young fighter over Diego. A young, solid fighter, I should say.
Yeah. If we go to Vegas, Vegas is picking Mickey Gall by pretty big margins.
Big
too.
margin, yeah. Minus 350?
Minus 350.
Right?
So let me actually put this down. I got to start keeping track of our picks here and see what Vegas does. So we all three picked Gall on this one. So.
Probably wouldn't be the worst thing to throw down $10 on Diego. You never know when he's going to.
If anything,
just turn it into a sloppy fight.
Or what we'll talk about in our DraftKings episode coming up as well is he's just a good guy because we've talked about this before. He can easily go 3 rounds of just whipping and winging punches, and if he lands,
he can earn you a lot of points.
Yeah, if he lands 100 significant strikes in 3 rounds, he's going to earn you a lot of points even if he loses. He can earn you a lot more points than someone that wins, a relatively average fight in 3-round decision. You know what I mean?
Right. So
easy. So all right, but that's that one. Pretty straightforward. Nice way to kick off. I think it's gonna. You know what it is? It's an entertaining fight, and it's gonna be something.
Yeah, it's gonna be something to get you going. It's gonna kick you off right, and that's what if you ever noticed with the prelims and the main card, they always try to kick it off with a really. They're one of their more exciting fights that they know is gonna hook you in. So then you're committed. At that point.
Yeah. And Diego Sanchez is a relatively household name, big household name for MMA fans.
If they promote it, he'll bring in some names.
Yeah, so that's why it's good to watch Mickey Gall or see if Mickey Gall can take the moment for him. This is certainly his moment. So, all right, let's talk about the next fight coming up.
So moving on to the third fight of the prelims, we have Misha Cirkunov versus Johnny Walker at 205 pounds. And if you don't know who Johnny Walker is, tune in because this guy – you don't get excited about a lot of light heavyweights these days, but there's a lot of hype around this guy.
Oh, he is very entertaining. He's riding a few knockout streak coming up here.
He had 2 knockouts so far in the UFC. He's 2-0 in the UFC, and landing over 5 strikes per minute.
Oh my goodness.
He's absorbing 29 per minute, but to be fair, his last fight was only 16 seconds. So.
Yeah, so that kind of kills your average there.
Yeah. So his defense at 25%.
Has he really only fought twice in the UFC?
According to the website, yes. He made his debut against Khalil Roundtree, knocked him out. And then Ledette, he just finished in 16 seconds. I think that was a month ago.
Yeah.
So, actually, this was supposed to be Ovin St. Preux versus Misha Cirkunov. Ovin just dropped out a couple weeks ago. Johnny Walker stepped up. Everybody loved it. They loved it more than OSP fighting him.
Oh, actually, I do too. Johnny Walker is definitely a guy that you got to get behind and get excited about. I think he's exciting.
We need contenders in this division.
Oh, absolutely. He's 16-3. Can you imagine you have a bunch of knockout guys if Johnny Walker gets through this fight, and then you have like Anthony Smith and you have Diego Santos up there.
Luke Rockhold is going to be making his 205 debut sooner than later.
He's not a knockout guy though. So
Sure Dog have him at 6'6"?
Sure Dog has him at 6'6".
The UFC has him at 6'3". I
was going to say, Sure Dog doesn't necessarily always have the right information on here. So, yeah, man, look, I know because I was looking up Johnny Walker before a couple fights ago. Must have been his first fight in the UFC. If we're going back, TKO, KO, decision, TKO, KO, KO, TKO. This guy's entertaining.
I feel like we should mention, too, all these KOs, for the most part, are round 1.
Oh, yeah. His average fight time's just got to be under 5 minutes or at 5 minutes at the most.
He's an athletic dude, too, for 6'3", 205 pounds.
What does it say his reach is?
82 inches.
Oh,
that matches up well with John.
Yes. He's, 1 inch shorter and 1 inch height-wise, and then has 1 inch less reach, I think, because John Jones is the ridiculous 83-inch reach.
But if you're going to find somebody who's going to beat John, you're going to want them to have that reach.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know what, we say that, but Daniel Cormier's box his face off. We won't get into that yet. We'll wait till later.
But Johnny Walker, definitely entertaining guy. I think I've only seen Misha fight.
Yeah, I've seen him fight a couple times.
Yeah.
He was at one time a big prospect for 205, but I think Volkan knocked him the fuck out.
Yeah, that kind of derailed his.
Yeah, I don't think he's
his streak
been quite the same since. Let's
No.
look at his.
I mean, he's only he's young. I think he's in his early 30s. So I mean, and he's a good sized guy. He's 6'3" as well. But Volkan set him on a two. He ended up
knocked
getting
out by Volkan in 20 seconds, and then Glover knocked him out in the first round. So it's not a.
Yeah, so I mean, he's probably going to end up just looking, at his history. He's probably going to be looking at the submission. He's going to be looking to take Johnny Walker down.
He's just going to be a top 10 guy.
Johnny's got to be fresh. I mean, he's fought. He's stayed pretty active recently.
Well, the great thing about having a quick knockout is after you've went through that grueling training camp, you have a quick knockout, you're fresh, you're still ready to go. And he hopped right back in. He volunteered for this. He's the one who he put his name out on Twitter. He said, "Hey, Misha, I'm ready to go." UFC got it done quick. He didn't have to really get back into a grueling training camp. His body's already kind of peaked.
Yeah, he fought.
This is great timing for him.
Yeah, he fought. He fought earlier this month, February 2nd.
Yep.
And then he fought before that in November, and then before that in August. So yeah, he's had a lot of back-to-back fights. But I mean, to your point though, I think that's good for him though. He's fresh. He's good. Why not?
If you're not taking damage, this kind of keeps you away from the grueling sparring and the weeks of training camp.
Well, think about it. He's been in the UFC for 2 fights, and he's fought for a total of 2 minutes and 12 seconds in 2 fights in the UFC. So he doesn't have.
And Khalil Roundtree, man, he's no joke.
No, he's a good contender.
Good. Yeah, he's a solid 205.
Yeah,
and he knocked him clean out.
I like Johnny Walker being at 205. I think that's a much more reason. I'm glad that some of these guys.
He's an exciting
guy.
There's not a lot of exciting guys. Even with Anthony Smith coming up, even Thiago Santos, I'm still a little bit. We've talked about this, you and I. I'm not quite on the bandwagon for either one yet, because neither guy could really make it at middleweight. And to me, I think they're just showing how weak 205 really is.
That's not necessarily true. These guys are huge. They're 6'3". I mean,
they're big guys.
They're big guys. I mean, that's a huge weight cut. We saw that not that long ago with what's his name? Dillashaw cutting down to 125. I mean, I think.
And you could be absolutely right.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people would argue that Dillashaw probably on most days we would assume is better than. Oh my God, Cejudo! I am just drawing blanks.
We both thought Dillashaw would win pretty, not necessarily easily, but we thought he would get it done.
Yeah,
sure.
I definitely didn't think he'd be knocked out in the first.
Definitely didn't
round.
think he'd be doing the chicken dance.
Yeah, I know, right away. So I think that it takes a lot out of these guys cutting down, and that's why you're starting to see.
That's another thing that we've talked about is how great guys, when they move up, how great they look.
They're starting to look great, and I mean, both these guys are all
they
three of those guys.
They're definitely not giving up size.
No, all 3 of those guys are freaking huge. They're all 6'3". I mean, even Misha's 6'3". I mean, these guys are huge. 205. So this one should be interesting. I think Johnny Walker will have to see what his takedown defense looks like here, because I can imagine, with Misha fighting a brawler like this guy that has 2 quick knockouts in a row, he's going to
be looking to get this thing down from the get-go. So I guess this is a big test for Johnny to see if he can keep this one standing.
He has a great takedown average. This is Misha. He's at 4.5 takedowns per 15 minutes, which is pretty good at light heavyweight. Takedown accuracy is at 58%. We have nothing for Johnny, obviously, since he's only fought for 2 minutes.
Yeah, why would you look to take somebody down when you can just knock them in tomorrow?
Takedown defense for Misha is 71%, but I don't think that's really necessary. Submission average 2.21. But I think it's going to be interesting to see if Johnny Walker can stand up. This is going to be a test for him to see what his wrestling defense looks like. But otherwise, guys, tune in. This one's going to be entertaining.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so.
Yeah, you have both of these on there, and we haven't even got to the main prelim fight.
This, to me, is my favorite fight of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy Stephens versus Abit Magomedshipov. This is a bananas fight. This is absolutely crazy.
I'm really excited for this fight. I mean, to your point too. I mean, who doesn't like Jeremy Stephens? Stephens looks. I mean,
talk about a dude that comes to throw leather.
Yeah, he does. I mean, it'll be interesting, and I'll get into this in just a second. It'll be interesting to see what his mindset is as of late. But
yeah, I don't know if anybody's been paying attention. He recently went on Ariel Helwani's podcast and talked about how after his previous fight, which he lost to Aldo, you know, how close he was to a title shot, and how he felt embarrassed, and you know, he went through some tough times mentally. He thought about suicide, and it was a really tough time for him. He questioned himself as a man and as a fighter a lot, and he had to rebound. He had to build himself back up just to get back to this point to fight.
Yeah, and this is not really the fight that you want to rebound after a loss to Aldo with Zabit possibly next,
but
the biggest.
Jeremy Stephens is this absolute savage. He wants to get after, man, and Zabit will oblige.
Yeah,
and not necessarily a brawling type way, but because Zabit, I think, is going to be using a lot of distance, a lot of takedowns, a lot of wrestling. Mm-hmm. He's going to try to wear Jeremy out quick.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, what Jeremy looks like coming in with Zabit. I think Zabit's a much bigger fighter.
6'1".
Yeah, 6'1".
6'1" compared to 5'8".
He fights long. He's very impressive with his stand-up, especially his ability to keep his distance.
The way he mixes it up, too, with his kicks, his athleticism. He doesn't, like, you look at him, he doesn't look like a guy that'd be very athletic. You know, he's kind of got, like, this fro-ish kind of hair, like this weird beard.
But he's
straight out of Russia, man. He looks as Russian as you can get, but just like really skinny.
And he mixes up strikes really well.
Looks
so
great,
he uses his distance fantastically. I mean, I love watching
coming
him
off a knee bar win. Like, when do you ever hear about somebody winning by knee bar?
Not very often, which is pretty dang
super
impressive.
Well rounded.
Well.
I mean, he can do it all.
Yeah, I'm
this
excited.
is the one guy at 145 I think could give Max trouble.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's why he's so, like, you know, why everybody's intrigued with him.
Well, that's why they're throwing him against Jeremy Stephens. They're throwing him right into that title picture here soon.
Yeah, they want to push this kid. I mean he doesn't speak English, so he's not going to be able to promote himself the way that they would like to. Mm-hmm. But, you know, being on ESPN and the main prelim fight, he's going to get easily 2 million viewers.
Oh yeah,
is he able to put on a show?
Is he currently ranked at featherweight?
He is, I think, 14. I think we just had it up here. I just saw it, I felt like. Oh, yeah, he's 13.
Jeremy
is 6. Jeremy's 6.
Jeremy's
Zabit
still
is
6.
13.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, this fight could definitely jump him into that title picture for featherweight, which is kind of clogged up right now just because there's not really any good contenders for...
Max and Brian kind of cleared out the division, and then they were left to fight each other, and then there's Volkanovski and there's Zabit. Volkanovski, he's a pretty short dude, kind of Chad Mendes type. Mm-hmm. Not really good matchup for Max. Or for him, it's not a good matchup to fight Max.
Yeah.
But Zabit, he's got the size, he's got the reach. The only question is, does he have the cardio? Because, like I mentioned about Diego, weaponized pace, nobody weaponizes pace like Max.
No, he's insane. I mean, the thing is with Max, and this is a whole other conversation, is eventually you're going to get caught with the way he fights. He takes a lot of shots too. Yeah. But Zabit's very accurate. He throws a lot of wild shots. So, if at the very least, that'd be a very entertaining fight to watch.
This is going to be a great fight.
Yeah,
he'll get after it. Both of these guys will get after it.
Because the good thing here is Jeremy Stephens is going to have to fight. Like, he can't fight from the outside, so he's going to have to come
find a way in.
Yeah, so he's going to have to start throwing. I would assume he'd have to start throwing not haymakers necessarily, but big overhand rights.
He's going to have to start throwing leg kicks to kind of close distance.
Yeah, so this isn't going to be a fight where he can really sit back and relax. Zabit's going to come at you, and you got to fire those shots off, man.
And I think Jeremy's going to be watching that fight with Kyle Bochniak, which was fight of the night back in last March, I think, which was a crazy fight where Bochniak and Zabit just went absolute at it. But Zabit was dominating that fight, but he got tired toward the end of the third round.
Yeah,
in a fight that he was dominating. I think Jeremy's going to watch that, and he's gonna pick up a pace.
Yeah, to that kid's credit, that Zabit fought. That kid, he got a chin on him. That kid got a chin on him. He made a fan out of me just watching him just take shots and keep coming forward.
That's the kind of guy that's gonna make a long UFC career without winning a lot of fights.
That's true. That's very true. But no, that's definitely tune into that fight. What do we have any good stats on the board for these boys?
Let's see. Jeremy, after having 28 wins, 68% are by knockout. Average fight time, 12 minutes. For a guy who's fought as many times as he has in the UFC, that's pretty good. Landed per minute, Zabit's fought quite a bit so far in the UFC, and he's landing 4.4.
Wow.
Or pretty much 4.5. It's 4.49.
And
landed per minute.
And what's his accuracy?
52%. And he's absorbing 2.5, less than 2.5 a minute.
Wow, that's a good differential right there.
I mean, you figure with that 6'1" frame, and he's got a 78 in reach. I mean, that's a lot of range.
How much does it say his reach is?
I'm pretty sure it just hit
73.
Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, 73. I was gonna say 78. Jeez, that's longer than our main event contender fight.
Takedown average for Zabit, I told you this, per 15 minutes is 7.2 takedowns.
That's incredible.
If you watch his takedowns, he uses a lot of trips. He doesn't shoot. Mm-hmm. He's not a conventional wrestler where he shoots singles and double legs. He does a lot of trips. It's really cool to watch.
Yeah.
Even that Kyle Bochniak fight, he had some really cool trips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I mean, Sambo's big, so with those guys, and that's going to be a lot of those trips and stuff. So, let's see if he can get Jeremy Stephens on his back.
Well, Jeremy Stephens got a 64% takedown defense against top UFC lightweights and featherweights, so
I'm excited. That's going to be a great fight. That's going to get you pumped up to buy that pay-per-view.
There's a reason this is on the main prelim. It's to get you to spend the money.
100%. All right, cool, man. Well, that's the main event for the prelim. So let's jump into this main card.
Kicking off the main card.
Oh, wait, let's reel that back. I almost forgot. We forgot in the last two fights to pick who we want.
We sure did. Well, I think we know. I think we pretty much talked.
I know. We talk way too much before these fights because we're nerds. All right, so back to the Johnny Walker and Misha fight.
Walker.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm going to take the power. At the heavier divisions, I'm always going to take the power.
Yeah, and then Vegas has Johnny Walker as a close, very, very close
Probably
favorite.
Just because he's, this is a big step up in competition.
Yeah. So how about Zabit?
I think Zabit just keeps the range.
Yeah, I do too. I think
and
that he just mixes it up. He
showed in that Kyle Bochniak fight that he could take a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, he keeps the distance really well, and
as long as he doesn't get absolutely just dead tired.
Yeah, and especially too, you wonder the mental state of somebody like Jeremy Stephens is admitting, he had a really tough time after the Aldo loss, which is completely understandable. But at the same time, you wonder what someone's mental state. That's half the game right there. So definitely. But Vegas also picks Zabit. It's actually not too bad. He's the minus 250.
The one thing is you can never count out a guy like Jeremy Stephens with that kind of power.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Yeah, it only takes one shot to change the game for him.
Absolutely not. Cool. All right, let's go. Let's hit this main card.
Kicking off the main card, Cody Garbrandt versus Pedro Munoz, and this is a really interesting fight because this is Cody's first fight back after 2 straight losses to TJ Dillashaw. The first losing his title, and the second trying to regain his title. Got knocked out in both, pretty bad. Took a lot of bad shots. Both fights where he hurt TJ before he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So really interesting to see where he's at mentally. I know if you will follow him on Instagram, he's kind of posting a lot about being humble. Just kind of trying to live this humble life. He has a kid now. Well, he had a kid when he fought TJ the first time, but it's kind of interesting because, when you saw him fight Cruz and when he was going to that first fight with TJ, even the second one, he kind of had this alpha mentality. He kind of wanted to be a bully.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's kind of being humble. It's like I don't know if I like that. He's a killer.
Yeah,
he's a guy who goes for knockouts. You got to have kind of that bully mentality.
Yeah, especially with someone with a glass jaw like him.
Yeah, he does not have a good style where he can knock people out, but he can just be knocked out as easily.
Yeah, especially against a guy like Pedro Munoz, who he's not necessarily he's not going to finish you with his hands, but he's an aggressive guy that we see. Especially his stats resemble that too. Is he's very aggressive, throws a lot of shots.
He's landing 5 per minute. 5 strikes per minute, but he's also absorbing the same amount per minute.
Yeah, I think a lot of that too is when you look at those strikes that he lands too. What you got to take into account for those stats is he's a pretty big grappler, so a lot of those strikes can come on the ground as well.
That's true.
So it also depends, I guess. Can Cody keep the fight standing?
Cody's a great wrestler. He hasn't been taken down yet in the UFC fighting both TJ and Dom. I would think he'd be able to keep this fight standing.
Yeah, I mean, his only 2 losses are to TJ Dillashaw back-to-back.
Bad knockouts, though.
Yeah, I mean but before that, I mean he beat Cruz, he beat Mizugaki, Almeida.
Not overly impressive. Besides Dominic Cruz is a very impressive win. But before that, I mean, there's not a lot there that really stands out.
I think Thomas Almeida and
Almeida hasn't really been.
Is
Mizugaki,
I know.
Dominic Cruz knocked him out in the first round.
Yeah, maybe a little past the prime, but I mean, he's a guy that finishes fights though, so this should be very interesting. I think at the very least, is both these guys like to throw a lot, and I think
this is going to be a high paced fight.
Well, to your point too, they like kicking off cards that are going to be high paced and hopefully put somebody to sleep and get you excited.
I like the lower weight fights because they fight at a high pace and it's quick, it's fast. You know, maybe it's not always the most exciting, but you're always locked into it because like ding 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 ding, like pinballs, just bouncing all over the damn place.
They're like Energizer bunnies, man. They go for days. No, they don't
get tired. Those little guys don't get tired.
No, they don't, and that's what's exciting about watching these guys fight. So I think it'll be interesting watching these guys throw haymakers back and forth and see who falls first. I think is going to be what it is on this one. I wouldn't be surprised if Munoz is looking for takedowns though. Make it simple, make it easy for himself.
Yeah. Well, I know we're going to do picks, I guess, right now. I think Cody keeps it standing, and I think he. You know, I don't trust a guy that takes 5 shots per minute. I'm going to give it over to the knockout artist over that. So I'm taking Cody Garbrandt.
All right.
I think he gets back on the win. I feel like,
I mean, Cody does have a little bit bigger reach. He's a guy that's supposedly 2 inches
He's
tall.
only got an inch.
Do you believe Cody's 5'8"?
He does seem like a bigger bantamweight than most.
I don't think he's 5'8" though.
Probably not. I mean, that's your height, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think he's 5'8". He doesn't seem like that.
But I also don't think Pedro Munoz is 5'6". I don't know if you've seen him. He's pretty short, dude.
Yeah, he is. There's no way. I'm pretty sure Cody's 5'6", actually. I'm pretty sure they just bumped these guys up. We're looking at fight metrics, and which reflects back onto the UFC site. But as we've said in the past many times, the UFC site is not always
Yes,
accurate.
Tyron Woodley's the number 6 ranked contender fighting the number 2 ranked contender Saturday night. And for anybody who might not know, Tyron Woodley is the champion, so that seems impossible. Seems like they haven't updated that in, I don't know, maybe 5 years.
Oh, my God.
But anyway.
See, but this is a stat that I can tell is really good. Is striking accuracy for Cody's 37%. I'd say that's pretty accurate.
He wings it. He talk about a winger.
Yeah, he does. Man, Pedro really does need to work on his striking defense. To your point, strikes landed per minute, a little over 5 strikes absorbed per minute, almost 5.5 strikes per minute. Yeah. But somehow I guess his defense.
But it could also be how you take him. If you're rolling with them, maybe getting caught on the end of those punches rather than...
Yeah, but if you're fighting a brawler, I mean, those are going to start catching you at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're getting that many significant strikes landed against you.
And that's why I'm picking Cody.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go with Cody as well. Man, we are across the board on this one. Let me see what Vegas picked on this one. Check it out. I don't know why this site does not have it in order. Blows me away. Ooh, Cody Garbrandt. Not a big favorite. Minus 175.
I don't know if you really can, coming off in 2 bad losses, 2 knockout losses. I don't know if you could put him as a big favorite.
Yeah.
Unless he was fighting an infant.
Well, about his size at 5'6", because there ain't no way he's 5'8".
A 5'6" baby? I don't think I want to see that. That's fucking Jesus. Jesus.
Don't put it past Dana White.
Whatever makes the money, baby.
All right, let's jump into the next fight on the card. So that's the opening card, or the opening fight. That one should be pretty interesting.
Also,
numero dos.
This is actually the 3rd fight on the card. We're skipping 1 fight on the main card.
Oh, that's right.
This is the 3rd fight on the card. This is a huge fight. This is a lot of interest generating. This one, Robbie Lawler is going to welcome undefeated, I believe 18-0, Ben Askren. They don't have his record on here.
I'll get that for you here in a minute. But
funky Ben Askren, I should say. And if you look at a picture of him, he looks funky.
He does look funky. That's why that's his name. But yeah, he's 18-0 to your point. And this is a big. This is one of the biggest prospects that was outside of the UFC for a long time. He was supposed to sign with the UFC years ago, but with his mouth, he did not.
Him and Dana didn't get along, and if you don't get along with Dana, you're not gonna have a fun time.
No,
Dana controls everything. So, but guy who's widely known for his wrestling. People consider him one of the best wrestlers to ever compete in mixed martial arts, but we'll see because he's fought in a lot of smaller promotions. And to get Robbie Lawler, to draw him as your first fight.
Yeah, I just don't care right now. The UFC is the biggest promotion in the world for MMA.
To me, it's not even close.
That's what I'm saying. Bellator always had good welterweights. He ran through Bellator for a long time. I mean, he fought Douglas Lima, Jay Heron, Lyman Good. So he fought a lot of good guys.
How many of those guys can wrestle?
But not only that, but how many of those guys, what do they translate when they get into the UFC? Right. How does their talent translate?
Because Rory McDonald, who Robbie beat twice, dominated Douglas Lima. Other than when he got his leg hurt, that's when Lima started to have success. But other than that, Rory was well in control of that fight.
The UFC is really weird. Or not, I shouldn't say the UFC. MMA is just weird in general. Like, even back in the Pride days, it was just weird seeing some of the transition guys made. Like, guys from the UFC did not transition over to Pride very well, like Chuck Liddell. He didn't do very well when he made his short stint.
It's just a different rule set, too.
It is, but...
what was it? The first round was like 10 minutes or something?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was 10-5-5.
Yeah, so that's a weird adjustment to make.
It is, but at the same time, I think it's just like we see that in baseball and football all the time. You don't know how guys are going to translate when they're going from American League to National League,
or if they're coming over from Japan or coming from Cuba,
or even just sometimes weather changes. Like guys that are coming from the Northeast compared to the South, like just seeing it. Sometimes it's just really weird, but it seems to translate to MMA. And some guys transfer into the UFC, they dominate, they look fantastic. Sometimes they just don't. But
it seems. Just off the top of my head, other than maybe Eddie Alvarez, I mean, who really has captured gold from like a promotion that was a big prospect? I mean, Anderson did from Pride.
Yeah, but I mean that's...
I don't know if I really think of that as the same way.
No, because Pride absorbed into the UFC. Shogun did. He captured gold.
Because a lot of the big UFC guys came from Pride. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like this is helping my case the way I'm explaining it.
No, but I think outside of the Pride guys from the glory days...
What I should say is the Pride at the time
I guess
competed with UFC in talent, but UFC bought them out, and they absorbed them just like they did Strikeforce. And...
but still, at the same time, that's still a lot of outliers. I mean, when you look at the grander picture of things, it's hard to see these guys come in and make immediate impacts. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how good Ben Askren does when he's jumping into the middle of this stacked welterweight.
He hasn't fought in a while. He hasn't fought in a couple of years.
Yeah, since 2017. And I was looking. So he fought in Bellator for a long time. He did great over there, and then he went into free agency, and that's back in 2014. That's when he was originally about to come into the UFC, which would have been great because he would have been fighting guys like the best wrestler to ever wrestle in the UFC at welterweight, GSP. But that never happened. That never came to fruition. A lot of people said he was just scared because he was a wrestler and he would be fighting the number one consensus wrestler, especially at welterweight, and he missed out on that opportunity. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, how old is Ben now?
I think he's about 35, 34.
Yeah, he's in his mid-30s now, too, to your point, too, and he's jumping into a stack.
This is a guy who he trained with Tyron in college. They went to the same college. They're great friends. They still train together. They train for this. They're because they're fighting on the same card. Yeah. They train together for this event.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's a great training partner to have, but I just don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting because my whole thing with it is Ben can come in and he can fit right in with the welterweights, and then he's right at the top of that division, ready to fight for gold, or he could just be a one-off. He comes in, he fights Robbie Lawler, doesn't look very good, and then he's just one of those guys that'll wrestle hump and,
Yeah, the one thing about him is he sold himself well. I don't know if you watched the 235 press conference when they pretty much announced all these fights. He stole the show.
If you have him on Twitter, he doesn't stop tweeting.
He's hilarious. And he's kind of a dorky dude too. Like he doesn't really cuss a lot. Like he doesn't say a lot of bad words. He's kind of like chill, but it's not as premeditated. It seems like.
Yeah.
He's a funny dude.
No, he is pretty funny actually.
If you heard him at the press conference, he was calling because he wants the Khabib fight at 165. He said, "Let's do it, America versus Russia. I'll take his back and chant USA while I'm doing it."
That would be awesome to see.
Actually, damn man, I love this guy.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to see him beat Robbie, but I want to see him win at the same time. I want to see him create some excitement.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, in the same breath, let's talk about Robbie, man.
Dude,
where
much to say about Robbie.
Where is he at in his career right now?
I think Robbie's at the point where he just wants to have exciting fights. He wants to make some money because I'm sure he realizes that he's at the back end of his career. He doesn't have a ton of time left.
Well, I mean, he went through some wars when he was war. What is it? No, he went through some wars.
Widely considered like the most exciting champion while he was gold.
Absolutely. I mean, his fight with Carlos Condit, which we think that Condit won. I think a lot of people would argue either way. His fight with Rory McDonald.
Roy's widely considered probably the greatest
open.
Title fight by most hardcore fans.
Yeah, I mean that one was pretty wild.
That was absolute bananas.
I mean, he had a ton of. Look at that: Jake Ellenberger, Matt Brown, Johnny Hendricks, Rory McDonald, Carlos Condit, back to back.
Everybody, man. Fought everybody.
And then who would have thought he would have got finished so quickly by Tyron? But I think that those wars catch up.
I thought a lot of people thought that was how much he was getting hurt in his fights and how hard Tyron hits. That was a very real possibility.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and then he captured a little win with against Donald Cerrone, and then
I actually thought he lost that fight.
Yeah, I know. I kind of think so too when I was watching that fight. And then you had Rafael Dos Anjos, which
just seemed like he suffocated him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. RDA looked fantastic in that fight. Talk about another guy that's so up and down. But anyways, that's a whole other conversation.
Talk about a guy that got 2 rough draws after that. But moving on.
Yeah, no, for sure. But it'll be interesting to see what Robbie shows up and see what his wrestling defense looks like. I think that's going to be the big piece. If he can keep it up, I think that he's going to win this fight. The best
way I can describe Robbie is he's a modern Chuck Liddell, sprawl and brawl.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's what he wants. He's a great wrestler. He doesn't really show it because he just wants to knock you the fuck out.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think a lot of this is going to depend on his takedown defense, which why don't you scroll down some of them stats and show us what that grappling – because the defense here is going to be the key to this fight. The grappling defense here is going to be the key to this fight.
Robbie's takedown defense is 69%. He's had a lot of UFC fights against
and
a lot of wrestlers. Welterweight has been known to have some great wrestlers.
Yeah, that's absolutely impressive.
You look at Johnny Hendricks. Roy McDonald can wrestle his ass off.
And he fought him twice.
Yeah, Jake Ellenberger is a wrestler. Pretty sure.
Josh Koscheck.
Koscheck's definitely a wrestler. Tim Kennedy is a wrestler. Lost to him. Jacare. He fought Jacare. Mind you, he fought at middleweight back in Strikeforce. So Jacare twice, Jacare twice, and then
Jake Shields. Yeah, but I mean, he lost to submission guys. So, but that was early in his career, though, too. Well, I shouldn't say early in his career. That was mid-career.
That was a weird time of his career where he wasn't motivated. He was very open about not being motivated at that time. And then when he got another chance in the UFC, that's when he cut the weight to get back to welterweight.
Yeah,
and got serious.
But I don't know. That's going to be the key to this fight. That's going to be the big storyline behind this fight. Is can he keep it standing? If he does, I think that he wins.
Well, if he keeps it standing, it's game.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolute game.
So let's get down to the nitty gritty stuff. Who do you pick in this one?
I'm picking Robbie.
You're picking Robbie?
Yeah, I'm picking the upset.
So this is where you and I are going to disagree because I am actually going to go with, because even though I love Robbie, I'm going to pick Ben because I think he's finally very fired up that he's going to be in the UFC for the first time after all these years.
I think other than Tyron, I think this is the toughest matchup for him.
No, it absolutely is. I think that this is.
That's not a coincidence that he got matched up with Robbie Lawler.
I think Usman actually would be a great fight or be a tough fight for Ben too.
Usman would be. Yeah.
He's a big physical wrestler. Yeah. That's bigger than Ben and can he's probably about as tall as Ben.
And if you listen to him talk about Kamaru Usman, he calls him Marty. First of all, that's how he. I don't know if you know this story because. I think it was Team USA, they were having whatever kind of event, like tryouts or whatever in Nebraska. And I guess at the time, from what Ben said, is that that's what Kamaru went by was Marty. So that's what he just calls him by, and Marty gets mad. He's like, I don't understand why he gets mad. That's just how I know the guy. Like, that's what he went by when I knew him at the USA tryouts. But I would have to imagine that they competed against each other somewhat at the tryouts.
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't been any word about that. So, I mean, I don't, there's always an edge. A lot of these guys have sparred against each other at some point. So.
Yeah, but years change, striking changes. I mean, I would think Ben Askren training with Tyron is a great practice. We'll talk about Tyron obviously here in a few minutes, but I don't know. I just this fight's going to tell me a lot. I think again, if Robbie can keep it standing, I think he wins. But I think Ben's going to be able to take him down. I think he's going to be more fired up. He's hungrier right now, so even though he's 34 years old, I think he's
just a couple fights that I watched. I don't like the way he closes distance against a good striker. I don't like the way he closes distance.
Do you know who that reminds me of?
Who?
Ronda. The way he closes distance.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to put my hands down, run at you, bear hug! And we saw how that worked against Holly.
But Ben is relentless on his takedown attempts.
No, he is, and that's what you see with a good freestyle wrestler, especially is they'll shoot in for a double, go to single, and then if you're pulling out a single, switch.
They're not trying to land a takedown on the first shot. It's the second, the third shot that they're trying to get.
100%. That you couldn't have said that better. That's exactly what it is.
It's almost to put it in terms of striking. It's the jab. It's the kind of setup shot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're setting up for that second and third attempts for that takedown. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how his wrestling translates to the UFC, where you have a stacked welterweight division that has a ton of guys that know how to wrestle. Yeah. Ton of contenders, ton of guys that know how to wrestle, so it'll be interesting to see for sure. But cool, man. I like that we finally have one.
Thank God.
I know.
Thank God. It's getting boring. I'm falling asleep over here picking all the same fucking shit.
I know. Usually we don't do that, but we have a lot here. Ben Askren is the favorite.
Yeah, I see that. He's actually a decent sized favorite.
Yeah, he is. He's the minus 280.
I might throw some money on Robbie.
You're gonna pick two big underdogs, huh?
What do you mean two big underdogs?
Because didn't you want to say that you were going to pick Diego too?
No, I pick all. It's down there. It's over there. No, I'm saying, Diego might not be bad to throw money on. I'm not going to throw money on Diego. I never would trust that chin.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
But Robbie, against a virtually non-threatening striker?
Fair enough. That's a good point.
I would throw some money on Robbie.
I like that. That's pretty good. Tune into our DraftKings episode. Can you hear the plugs, guys? Can you hear the plugins for it? Tune into it, mother.
Coming right back to back.
Yeah, I was going to keep going, but I was like, I need to reel that shit back in. So I don't know.
All right.
Whatever. Do we need to curse more? What do we need to bring? We need to bring some more flavor to this. Should we start using some of the effects on here or something? Hold on.
We need a sound effect board.
We need a sound effect board, Sean?
Yeah, like a toilet noise whenever you make poo-poo pics.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce our next fight on here?
The first of two title fights this Saturday night. Tyron the Chosen One Woodley will be defending his belt for the fourth time, I believe, against the Nigerian Nightmare Kamaru Usman.
Say it again. Announce this fight again.
Oh, you weren't ready?
Huh? No, I just wanted to do it again. Throw it in.
Tyron the Chosen One Woodley will be taking on the Nigerian Nightmare Kamaru Usman.
Kamaru Usman.
I wasn't ready for that.
I'm playing with the effects. I never do that. I think I did it like one time.
Hey, just keep going for it. Hey, we're winging it.
Hey, you know what? Let's give it another go. Kamaru Usman's a big dude. He's a big, scary looking dude. So I want you to really I want you to channel your inner Bruce Buffer right now. Dude.
Well, I can't be that loud. It's, what time at night?
Ready?
There's people sleeping?
3, 2, 1.
Tyron, the Chosen One, Woodley taking on That's too loud. That's too loud.
Oh my God, that was so brutal.
Yeah, that was.
Oh God. Yeah.
You turn it up way. Hey, mixer, maybe turn it down a notch.
Oh, that would be wise. I have the effects audio all the way up on yours.
Yeah, that hurt my ears.
Yeah, did it. Yeah. All right. So we're not going to do that anymore.
This podcast has completely gone off the rails.
Because you know what it is?
I'm drinking beer. Ryan's
You're
messing up
drinking a
this.
beer. Sean, can you please enter into the screen what you brought here beforehand?
This is a bucket. You see one beer in here. There was 5. Now there's 1 plus the one in front of me.
So we still have to work through that.
And we
one
still
as
got a
well.
DraftKings episode to go through, so
Yeah, absolutely. All right, sorry. We played with that one. But you know what? It's because we hurt ourselves too much. We're only supposed to do one special effect at a time.
and we nailed this.
We spent a ton of money. We
nailed
flew
it.
out to Vegas. We got the UFC to set up early so that way we can shoot from the T-Mobile.
We paid all these
arena.
extras. All these extras, you see them?
100% we did.
We paid them.
Yeah. Can we show that on the screen for us? Sorry, we're just looking at
And
ourselves.
we had to pay to get inside the T-Mobile arena. It's not cheap.
Is Ariane Celeste down there? Brittany Palmer? You good? No? Okay, sorry. I'm getting a little carried away here. All right. Anyway, sorry. Let's get back to this. What is it? Interim title fight.
Interim title fight. Oh, because it's number yeah.
Because the champion is ranked the number 6.
Don't pay
welterweight.
attention to UFC website. It's
I just love that. Like the UFC.
to go back to Ben Askren real quick. I don't know if anybody saw on Twitter because for the long time he's been signed for a while with the UFC now,
Yeah.
and this fight's been made for a while. And for a long time, he had just had like a black silhouette under his name. If you clicked on his name, it was Black Silhouette. He tweeted out at the UFC, "Hey, don't you think it's time that you updated my profile?" Obviously, hinting at, give me a picture. And they put him at 18-1. Mind you, he's undefeated. They put him at 18-1 and go, "Here's that L we just handed you." The UFC page.
Do you know why I'm laughing so hard? It's because I imagine Dana White at night has control over the UFC.com website. And anytime Tyron or freaking Ben pisses him off, he just goes in there and starts changing shit like.
Or he's texting. He's
Like-
constantly. He's got whoever the head of media is.
Oh my God.
Right on speed dial. Like, hey, listen, I need you to do something for me. I don't know if you've been checking Twitter.
Tyron said that he is not going to fight for another 6 months. Put that motherfucker at number 6. Dude,
Humble him.
I just imagine Trump gets him tweaked up like when he starts ranting at sending off tweets at 1 o'clock in the morning. Dan's like, damn right. You know what? Screw you, Ben. You want to wait 5 years to get here?
I'm gonna build my own motherfucking wall. Fuck you, Ben.
Build my own wall between the fires. I don't know. I just imagine him like a 16-year-old girl. Like anytime someone pisses him off, he just goes on the site and changes their stats or their information. It's just like little stuff that you wouldn't know is gonna be there until you go and look, and you're like, what the hell is that for? How do you get that wrong? It's just because he's like at his keyboard late at night.
I think actually Ben.
Nobody's supposed to
Ben
know.
kind of referenced that in their press conference. He goes, I can just imagine Dana at 80 years old sitting on his porch smoking a cigar, just going, ha ha, remember that time everybody thought Ben Askren was going to be good? And then I matched him up with Robbie Lawler.
Oh my God, that's too much, man. Oh my God.
He's like, Dana, do you smoke or drink something, right? He goes, nope. He goes, well, in my imagination you do. So for this, we're going to just pretend like you do.
Oh God, a guy that says motherfucker as many times as he does, he might actually out motherfucker Samuel, but he's got a
Yeah, but he's not as
drink.
cool as Samuel Jackson.
He's not. No, they're on two completely different playing fields.
All right, let's get back to the fight. We've completely gone off the rails.
All right, sorry.
It's your fault.
Yeah, it probably is.
Nope. All right, just kidding. So, what's your initial thoughts on this fight when it was made?
I thought that this was actually I think this is a better matchup than people are talking about, not because of the stand-up, because I think...
Is that what you thought when you first saw it get made, officially announced?
Yeah, I mean, even though I wanted to see the Colby fight, not because I like Colby, I hate that jackass.
Because
but
you wanted because you hate Colby.
yeah, that's why I wanted to see Colby get knocked out. Tyron's going to handle him whenever that fight happens. But I actually thought that this was... Because Kamaru's a pretty big dude. He's a pretty sizable dude, and he's a great wrestler. So I actually thought that they might match up pretty well.
When that first happened, I thought this might be the most boring title fight ever. I'm kind of getting excited for it, though. If you watch, them talk a little shit, it doesn't seem necessarily, like they're just trying to sell a pay-per-view. There's clearly respect there among the talent level.
Yeah.
But you could see that
But you know what
they desperately want to knock each other the fuck out.
Yeah. Well, you know what the best part about it is, though, is like, that you have to consider is when you have two high-level wrestlers like both these guys coming in, this can easily turn into a stand-up brawl that gets ugly.
Yeah, but Tyron's not the brawling type.
No, he's not, but Kamaru Usman is, and that's when... So the problem I have with Tyron is that he can easily fall back and win on points, and that gets ugly when I think that he has great hands that he underutilizes right now.
Yeah, I don't think he has enough confidence in his hands to attack.
No, he doesn't. So that's what I'm excited about. Like, the best case scenario here is Kamaru and him get stagnant on the takedowns, so they end up standing, and Kamaru gets desperate and starts throwing, because I don't think he's gonna last 5 rounds. Kamaru, he's too big. He's 6 foot and he looks like a freaking action figure. I think he's gonna easily tire out, whereas I see Tyron being able to go all 5.
One thing that probably the funniest thing that was said during that press conference, I keep referencing it now, is Kamaru said the difference between me and these other guys is if you hit me, I'm gonna keep coming. Bullshit. There's not a man at 170 that could take a right hand bomb from Tyron Woodley and keep coming.
Oh, damn straight. But that's what I want to see. I want to see him throw accurate strikes. Even if he's backing up, I want to see how he throws on his heels. Mm-hmm. I want to see it because I think he's a very accurate guy, and the way Kamaru throws is not very helpful for him. We'll put it that way.
He's not a great striker.
No, he throws with his hands up, but he does throw a lot of power shots.
Yeah,
like he throws haymakers. He's
a wrestler.
Your typical wrestler. They have that
typical
freak
wrestler
strength.
Turned to MMA fighter.
Exactly. Which I mean, you can say the same thing about Tyron, but he actually has good, crisp handwork.
If you watch Tyron, just pure boxing, like you can tell this dude's a natural striker. He's got some natural striking ability.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a very athletic guy, right? So, I was actually a little bit more excited than I know people tend to be thinking about this fight. I actually thought that this is going to be great. What are your thoughts when this got matched up?
When this got matched, well, pretty much what I said, that this was a boring fight. I wasn't excited for it, but just building up to it, I'm like, this could turn to a quick finish.
Yeah,
I think Tyron knocks him out.
Do you? I hope so.
I don't think he takes Tyron down. I can't see anybody at welterweight out wrestling Tyron in an MMA fight.
Yeah, honestly, I think so too. I think even if he does manage to get Tyron down, I think Tyron's gonna be able to get right back on his feet.
I mean, if you want to just talk about pure wrestling, Kamaru Usman's a Division II national champion. Mm-hmm. Tyron's a Division I national champion.
Yeah. No,
that's
100%.
A big difference.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree with you. So who do you got in this one? You got Woodley.
I got Tyron.
I
got Tyron.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you.
I think Tyron beats him in every aspect of the fight game.
Yeah, I do too. I to be honest, like my biggest hope in here is, especially after we've had the fucking snoozers like the Maya fight and both the Thompson fights. I want to see him use his hands. I want to see somebody push him. And honestly, this is the exact kind of fight that's going to happen.
That's why people want to see Colby, because I feel like Colby will be the one to push him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Colby definitely will.
But that's what you don't want to see Tyron necessarily go out there and just swing carelessly, but you want to see him get a little after it. Well, as far as striking goes, but he's overly conservative. He wants people to come to him.
Yeah, but if you see a good striker is not going to start winging stuff.
No.
And that's my point is I want to see what he does when Kamaru's coming forward. If Kamaru can't take him down and he starts winging shots, is he able to take the angle out and get out of the pocket, come back in? Is he able to jab? Is he able to set up combinations?
But to me, even if he was attacking, that's all he's got to do. Just use the jab. Just use simple combos. Just get him going, and then maybe throw in a power shot every now and then.
Yeah, I don't think even though Kamaru was like 4 inches taller, I don't think the reach is that different.
2-inch reach difference in favor of Kamaru, 76 to 74.
Which he can easily change the reach because of his speed.
As explosive as there is.
Yeah,
in MMA,
because your speed can change that reach real fast. I mean, if it's only 2 inches, I mean, and the way he's able to explode in and out. I think
to me the biggest difference in striking it seems like an MMA speed. Who's the fastest guy?
Yeah, it is for sure.
Speed. I mean, this is something that we talked about with Amanda Nunes and Cyborg. Amanda was quicker.
Yeah,
she's faster to the chin.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that definitely showed because they were both winging shots, not necessarily looking at the target. Mm-hmm. Amanda was just a little bit quicker
and more crisper. That's actually a good point too. Is that actually resembles this fight as well? Is Amanda was throwing crisp, close, clean shots.
Yeah, and I love Tyron's boxing.
Yeah, me too. So, and this one's actually pretty damn surprising to me. Look how close these odds are. I just lost my spot. There we go. Tyron Woodley's a -190 to Kamaru Usman's +155.
You know, I think undefeated Kamaru Usman has dominated pretty much everybody. He hasn't shown really any chinks in the armor. So I don't think Vegas is willing to put him as a big underdog.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
I mean, who's this one lost to? Is it even named?
He lost a submission to Jose.
Yeah, so I mean, rear naked choke.
Some dude back in 2013, so that's a long time ago. But, I mean, you know, he went to decision with RDA, decision with Damian Maia. That doesn't really tell you too much. I think in both those.
I think Dos Anjos, he stole the game plan from Colby. Push him up against the fence. Wear him out.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is he didn't really show anything different on that one. He outsized RDA on that one. RDA had some nice shots and he was moving around, but RDA is just one of those guys. He's weird, man. He doesn't fit at 155 because it's hard for him to cut down. He's a 165er. He's a 165er.
He's too small for 170, but too big for 155.
Yeah, and you know, the Maia fight. I don't know. Maia doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, a wrestler's gonna negate Damian Maia every time.
Yeah, so. But all right, cool. Yeah, that leads us to
our main event of the evening. Where are you, sound guy? Where's that sound bite?
Go again.
The main event of the evening.
Oh my God, we got that so on par this time.
Yeah, that was good. That one was better.
I am so happy with that.
Congratulations. Do you have a round of applause on there?
Do one more time.
The main event of the evening. Introducing first the challenger.
Oh my God, hold on. I just want to stop because I'm so excited that worked twice.
Listen, you guys don't understand how big of a day this is for Ryan. He got the green screen working. When we first put this up, there was a lot of wall on both sides.
There was a lot of
we figured
yellow
it out.
wall.
Yeah, we figured it out. We got the arena here.
We don't look too good on the camera though, but I think that's just from the camera that we use.
We don't have great lighting either.
No.
Listen, we don't have a lot of great stuff. We're working little by little. First, it was a green screen. Now we're getting the sound effects. We're slowly building up.
Well, this was the biggest thing I wanted to invest in. Sorry, I guess I'm like talking to like half the audience right now. I'm pointing at the microphone because I invested heavily on the audio piece, not so much the video piece. So.
It's coming along. It's coming
along.
But
again, completely derailed. Sorry. Let's reel this back in.
Yeah, back to our main event.
This you can almost say that this is almost has the same kind of feel as the co-main event. Like when people sign.
I'm not excited for this fight at all, to be honest. I can't remember the last time I haven't been even like the slightest bit excited for a main event title fight.
Yeah. I think that there's two reasons to be excited for this. One, it's Jon Jones. And he seems more motivated than ever. He wants to stay active. He wants to fight 3 times this year.
I love that.
Yeah, no, I do too. He wants to fight at least 3 times this year.
He's hoping for 4. I mean, this will be 2.
He can easily, if
not necessarily 2 in the calendar year, but I mean, he just fought New Year's Eve. Or December 30th.
Yeah, but was that technically December 30th? I don't.
30th, 31st. It was one.
I was going to say sometimes it doesn't necessarily.
It was that Saturday before New Year's Eve.
It was. You're right. I think it was like 2 days before New Year's.
So,
but no, for sure. He said he wants to fight 3 times this year in the calendar year 2019. So
I think he can get 4 easily.
Dude, if you look at the guys that are lined up, I mean, if he's going to fight Anthony Smith and then Anthony Smith's other clone, Thiago Santos, like if he fights these guys lined up, I mean, these guys are all favorable matchups to him.
Everybody's a favorable matchup for John. Yeah. I mean, you think other than his power, he's the perfect fighter.
But you know what's so, like, because Jon Jones is such a dickhead, like, in real life. He is such a dickhead. Like, it's, like, some of the stuff he's done is unforgivable. You know what I mean? He's had a few chances. He's had more chances than many normal people would get. But if I'm looking at it just from a fighter perspective, he is an exciting wrestler. Like, where Ben Askren is a leg humper, you know, or like Chael Sonnen's a leg humper.
I think that goes back to his Greco-Roman. It's a lot of throws.
Well, it's not that, but he transitions a lot. He uses his elbows a lot. He transitions from punches to elbows pretty quickly. He moves from position to position really fast and always has like the upper hand. So that's why he is always exciting, even on the ground. His takedowns are exciting too, man. I mean, he's just like an explosive guy. Like he's not gonna knock out Anthony Smith.
He seems like a video game character, right? Like he presses it like a quick few combos and then it's like, oh, he threw him over his head.
We know the game plan. John Jones is gonna take Anthony Smith down. How long do you think it takes him to get him down?
Not long. I think he gets him down on the first shot.
Wow, really?
I think he times it well. I think he catches Anthony coming, maybe getting a little over aggressive. Or he catches him being maybe a little too conservative. Maybe hits him with a few combos, gets him a high guard, takes him down. So let's look at Anthony Smith's wrestling. His takedown defense is 46%. Against John Jones, he's getting taken down.
Oh, 100%.
He's getting taken down early.
Yeah. I mean, let's look at Anthony Smith's latest competition. I mean, granted, he's fought to some decent dudes, but
not a great record.
Well, he's a guy that's been around. I mean, he's to be honest, he kind of reminds you of is like a Robbie Lawler.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
31-13.
But yeah, he's had a ton of fights. I'm just like trying to look back. Shogun, Rashad Evans. That's
lost to Thiago Santos by knockout before he moved up to 205.
I was gonna say that's what sent him up to 205. Hector Lombard.
Knocked out Hector Lombard.
Yeah, that was sick. Oh, talk about guys that don't transition into the UFC well. Hector Lombard, he was like on a 20-fight win streak. He even got knocked out by Dan Henderson. That was sick,
Old
though.
Dan. I just watched that fight last night. It's
Did
weird.
you?
Yeah.
That was awesome. I'm just looking like he doesn't have a lot of wrestlers on here, so he's fighting a whole different level of wrestling here.
To be honest, it doesn't matter even if he fought a good wrestler. Unless he fought Yoel at middleweight, he ain't fighting a wrestler. That's John Jones.
God, we missed that fight too. Yoel and Anthony Smith should have been matched up. Sorry, that's completely...
Anthony Smith would have got knocked into fucking next year.
I know, but I love watching Yoel win.
Who doesn't?
I know, that guy's terrifying. But
that guy's my hero.
Oh God, I love that dude. I have a man crush on him for sure.
I've got a man crush.
Dude, he's the only person I've ever seen that looks terrifying wearing a fedora in a press conference.
Dude, you could see him. He went on Rogan's podcast wearing a long sleeve shirt, and you're like, Jesus Christ, I don't want to fuck with that guy. Like, Jesus Christ, that guy's a fucking animal. He's wearing a long sleeve shirt. You see his traps with like fucking about to. Dude, if he were to scratch his shoulder, that shirt would instantly tear off. It'd disintegrate.
Dude, my memory of him, I'm pretty sure it was when Michael Bisping was talking trash. Thank God for Michael Bisping. He never got matched up with him, but he ripped up the Cuban flag, remember, to piss him off. And I'm pretty sure that was when he was wearing a fedora, and then he just has his eyes, like he has his face down, and he's just like looking up. And like he just starts talking, and you're like, "Oh my God, that guy is so scary."
Remember UFC 205 when he knocked out Weidman, and he's pointing up to Bisping up in the booth.
Yeah,
you talk about me, I love you. See you soon, boy.
Love that dude.
Dude, I was scared.
Oh my God.
And I was sitting in West Virginia up in a Buffalo Wild Wings watching that, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm terrified.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. We completely keep.
You give me this, I love you.
Oh my God.
Don't forget Jesus.
Dude, it's just a shame that guy's 40, 41.
No, I think that's great. I love it.
I think so?
I think it adds to his legend.
Yeah, that's true too. All right, so let's get back to Anthony Smith. All right, so this is the thing right now. I think that we're gonna have to start taking some prop bets almost, like not for any money or anything, but we're just gonna have to start taking some prop bets on this fight because I think this is the only way that it's gonna make this fight entertaining. Like,
yeah.
How long do you think? If I'm being real right now, like how long it's gonna take for him to get that first takedown? I think it's gonna be in the second round. He's gonna wait. He's going to feel him out on the feet. He's going to try and play with him a little bit. And then in the second round, he's going to get more aggressive.
I think he gets it at the end of the first round to secure a round. not necessarily secure it, but he can kind of solidify his round.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on what his game plan is, because if you sell it already at the end of the first round, which definitely I could see that happen. Like, get points,
but if you put that in his mind, if you get an easy takedown, you put that in his mind already as a big underdog.
Mm-hmm.
But especially also, if you're piecing him up.
Yeah. That completely changes it.
But then he goes, "What can I do?"
Yeah, but if it's a pretty even round and he just secures it, then you kind of show your hand. But I mean, he's a smart guy though. That's his fight IQ is really high, so I can imagine that he would change it up. I'm gonna say early second round.
I'm saying late first.
We're gonna do early second for me. So first round for you. I like that. That's pretty good, especially the way you put it. I like the point that you made. All right, what's another prop bet that we should put on this? Because again, I think this is gonna be the only way that we can make this exciting.
How many right hands does Anthony Smith land in the first round?
So a significant strike?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you can't say right hands because that's going to be hard for us to count.
No, we can do that. Significant strike?
No, significant right strike, but right hand? I mean, does fight metric keep that?
No, but we can watch that. That's something we can break down. Significant strike, right hand. So you're looking for...
Let's do an over-under.
Ooh, I like that one.
Because it's going to be hard to necessarily guess just one.
So what's the over-under? Wait, do you want to do over-under on significant strikes or significant strikes only right hand?
Let's do significant strikes. So that way we can get the UFC count. We can be accurate with it.
And which round do you want to do this in? How about we do this?
Let's do the first round because I feel like that's going to be his best round.
Let's do first and second round. Because I think this
one each for each round, or
one for each round. Because you know what, I think that it is going to be. I think it's going to be finished by a third or in the third. Jones, obviously.
That's as late as I think it goes.
Yeah, 100%. So what's Anthony's average right now per 15 minutes?
Per 15 minutes, he lands 3.67.
3.67.
But he absorbs 4.8 per minute. Ow! That's a terrible margin.
So per minute he does 3.67. So obviously 3, 5, 15. So you're probably putting that about 17, 18 if you add in the halves.
I'm putting that way under.
So all right. So his average, we'll say over under is at 18, and you're gonna put. Sean's gonna put.
I'm putting under. I'm putting under 18, no doubt.
Sean's gonna put under. Ryan. I'm gonna put at 18. I'm gonna go ballsy. Not under, not over. Can I do that? Like, I feel like that's going to be tougher. If I hit 18...
You can do that, yeah. I mean, that's... You're only giving yourself one chance to win.
I know. That's why I kind of thought that might be... No, you know what? Screw it. I won't do that.
Kind of cocked out.
I think he's... I'm going to say over because I think he's going to go out for it in the first round. And then in the second round...
Less.
I'm definitely going under. I like yours. Not even under. You're like less. Like way less.
All right. Honestly, I'd be surprised if he landed 20 significant strikes in 2 rounds.
Yeah.
To think about it, I mean.
But you know what though? We have seen Jones get hit a few times. He can take shots.
But against great strikers like Daniel Cormier. His boxing is as good as pretty much a lot of. I'd put his boxing as elite.
Oh yeah,
watching him fight John the second time, the way he was able to hit John.
Yeah.
Gus couldn't hit John the way DC did.
Yeah.
And the size that he's at.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? I think something that Anthony Smith does well is he hits to the body.
Yeah, but I don't know. Just the size of John.
I'm just trying to justify my over on this one because honestly, my gut says way under.
I haven't been impressed with Anthony Smith since. I don't know.
I haven't either. But this kind of feels like a BJ Penn, Frankie Edgar situation to me. So
look, a lot of fighters are picking Anthony Smith. It's more with their heart than their
absolutely.
Intellect, but still.
All right, so we got significant strikes. We got how long till Jones gets his first takedown in this fight?
I got till the end of the first round.
Yeah, and then I got early second. So what's our next prop bet? There's gonna be a ton of great ones in this one. Like, we should maybe do like how many leg kicks Jones is gonna throw because he's throwing a ton. No, that one's kind of boring. I don't like that one.
Let's do a crowd one. What are the chances Cowboy shows up on the pay-per-view?
100%.
Oh, you say 100%?
Crowd. crowd prop. Let's do that one. Cowboy.
Wait, hold on.
showing
All right,
up.
if you say 100%, let's make it a little different. What's the chances of Cowboy drinking or with a beer in his hand on TV?
Oh, 102%.
Oh, okay.
He's always drinking. He drank out of Tai Tuivasa's shoe in
was great.
Australia.
That was great.
That was fantastic. I'm just saying, like, obviously it happens all the time. And the dude forgot. That was such a great one. All right, so Cowboy being shown. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised if he's actually shown right before this right before this main event because Dana White announces him and McGregor fighting later this year.
That fight is like it could be announced any day now.
Yeah.
As
Actually,
far as
the only
I've-
reason they might not announce it is just because of the suspension. They might not technically be allowed to announce it, but it would explain why both guys aren't situated.
It's
for a
agreed
fight.
upon.
Yeah.
Multiple sources have said it from the fighters in the UFC. It's agreed upon.
Yeah. They might just not be able to do that, so I take that back. That probably won't happen because I can imagine that they would
Yeah.
piss off.
The Nevada State Athletic Commission.
Yeah, if they do that. So Cowboy being shown.
You saying yes or no?
Oh, I'm saying it's 100%.
Saying no. I'll go no. Just to
I'm not just putting yes.
maybe he's not even there.
100%.
He's got to be there to be shown.
No, he's going to be there. And then Sean saying no. I like that one. That one's good.
Here's one. Is Colby Covington there?
Oh, 100% he is.
You think so?
Yep.
I don't think so. I don't think with the shit he's been talking, I don't think he's there.
What? For real? You don't
Yeah,
think so?
I don't think he's there.
Is Colby there?
I think like Dana's probably thinking, really, motherfucker, you want to show up after all that shit you talk?
I'm putting 100% yes again.
You only
Sean's-
met Trump because of me, motherfucker.
Okay, here's a good one because I'm picking yes for Cowboy and Colby being there. I'm going to also say, I'm also going to be ballsy enough to say that they're going to be sitting next to each other as well.
I could see that. I could see if there's anybody Colby's going to get along with in the UFC, it's Cowboy.
Yeah, that's only because Cowboy gets along with literally everybody.
Yeah. Unless Colby literally just wants to pick a fight just to have a fight. I don't know, but I feel like Cowboy wouldn't like Colby.
He probably wouldn't because Colby said a lot of terrible things about Brazilians, and obviously Donald has a lot of backing from Brazilians. If Anderson, the freaking Spider Silva, is going to go say hi to him before he goes steps in the cage against Israel Adesanya. I'm just going ballsy with it. I'm picking that one. I like that one. So, all right, but back to the fight. Anything else that you want to pick in this fight?
Well,
No under overs, no other prop bets. I mean, I think that those are pretty good. We have an under over on significant strikes, and then we have
it ending by round 3.
Oh yeah, let's pick. Yeah, that was the other one. I was actually thinking of that.
I'm thinking in the second round.
How will it finish?
I think submission second round.
finish. So Sean says. Actually, let's do it this way. So Sean says second round. I'm even going to go so far as to say it's probably going to be third round because I think Anthony has some hot and will be able to take a beating for a while. And then how is it going to get finished specifically?
I think rear naked choke.
To
RNC
finish.
motherfucker.
So Sean says rear naked choke.
If I'm
That's
being honest,
interesting.
I'm hoping for another standing guillotine, but Anthony Smith's a little too tall for that.
I don't think that's going to happen.
How cool was that, though? That was fucking
That was
sweet.
pretty sick that he put out freaking Machida like that. Rear naked choke. I'm going to say elbows. I say he's going to put him out with elbows in the third. He's going to be on top of him and
It's a
just
good pick.
put him out. It's not like it would be his first or second time doing that. So,
That's what he's known for.
boom, I picked that one. Love it.
235 broken down.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We always love talking about this. We went a little off the
rails there, but we hope you enjoyed it. Maybe maybe we're too on the rails sometimes.
Yeah, no, I think that this was a fun episode. Guys, this is going to be such a great card this weekend. I'm super pumped for it. This is like a 4th of July / New Year's card. They're always the biggest cards of the year. This one's huge. Granted, that's also because Dana wanted a reason for you to keep your ticket in case John Jones screwed up or, tested positive before this event on Saturday. So,
And I think he just wants a big card in the first quarter of 2019.
I think it's more just to justify if John Jones got pulled.
I think it's both, but they have been putting more more big card in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting until summer.
Yeah. Well, either way, this is going to be an exciting fight. Watch the prelims. Tune into that. Those are going to be awesome.
Watch as many fights as you can.
I would definitely say buckle down on Saturday and just plan
Even the
on
no names, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, so I think the prelims have some more of the no-name people on it, or the early prelims, and then the prelims have some pretty entertaining fights. And then obviously the main card is it's pretty stacked through and through. So
It's going to be great.
yeah, so tune in. Love it. Guys, we always enjoy doing this every week, so thank you for tuning in.
We will see you Sunday.
We'll see you on Sunday when we recap this.
Sunday
fish.
fun day.
All right, guys. Peace.